Welcome back, everyone, to another thrilling episode of Mysteries Unveiled, where we dive deep into the shadows of true crime, conspiracy theories, and paranormal. I'm your host, LD Papilloma.
And I'm Monieka. Today we have a tantalizing topic that's sure to keep you up on edge of your seats. We're diving into the world of Carole Baskin. I'm sorry, guys. I paused for a second because I've been telling Mary I've been saying basket all day, but it's Carole Baskin. Yes, the one and only queen of big cats and the center of countless conspiracy theories.
That's right. But before we do, let's get into the wild world. Oh, sorry. Before we get into the wild world of Carole Baskin, and all the juicy conspiracy theories around her, we want to take a moment to send our love and good vibes to our host, Carly, who can't be with us today. Carly, we're sending you all the positive energy, prayers, and a sprinkle of that white magic today. We can't wait to have you back with us next week.
Yeah, we miss you.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Now let's kick things off with a little game, and let's get those brain gears turning. I'm going to present you with a story about Carol Baskin. Your job is to guess whether it's true or false. Are you ready?
Oh, I love this part. Bring it on.
All right, here it goes. In 1997, Carol Baskin was rumored to have been involved in a secret society that aimed to protect endangered species through unconventional methods, including using psychic mediums to communicate with animals.
That does sound wild, actually, but knowing Carol's flair for the dramatic and her passion for big cats, it could actually be true. Or is it just another conspiracy theory?
That's for our listeners to decide. So keep that thought in mind as we unravel the layers of the mystery surrounding Carol Baskin today. From her controversial past and her infamous rival with Joe Exotic, the bizarre conspiracy theories that have emerged since Tiger King took over our scenes, and this episode has it all.
We'll explore from whispers of murder mysteries and hidden secrets to the tales of haunting at Big Cat's rescue. And let's not forget about love and lust in this entangled web of intrigue. Because there are big cats, there are often way bigger dramas. Am I right?
Yeah. So grab your headphones, settle in, and prepare for an episode filled with confidence, sexiness, spine tingling stories, whether you're a true crime aficionado or just here to listen to the gossip. We promise you don't want to miss this.
So let's dive into the wild world of Carol Baskin, where truth is stranger than fiction.
And remember folks, keep those good vibes flowing as we embark on this journey together.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to give
Hey
it a
Chris.
minute for everybody to come in. I do need to share. It seems like we're, um, without sharing, then I don't know what's going on. Let's see. And then we'll take the camera off. We are on three different channels tonight. We're on YouTube, Stitch, and Facebook. So here we go. I kind of want to know how many of y'all ever watched that Joe Exotic because it's been a while for me.
I remember when it came out, I just could not believe the people who were watching it because I would talk about it with people I thought, would watch it. And then you have the people who were like not really those types of watchers and then winded up like watching that show specifically because it was just so wild.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, I got that one shared. I'm sorry, it just takes forever to
You
share.
know, speaking of this, when I first saw that what is it the Joe Exotic show when was it Tiger King, there it is. I
Mhm.
remember I remember this woman. Like I remember her like being in that controversy about her husband and stuff. And I thought, man, these two would be a good couple.
I thought that too. Honestly, like this. Okay, so I'm gonna take the camera down, or camera up, or take this down. There we go. Aha! Hello.
Hey, you got the
Okay.
baby answered out.
So as you come in, just say hello. Let us know you're here. Um, okay, so I do see Chris's message right now. Sorry.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
committed.
I need to share it to my friend David because he has not been watching the last couple weeks, and I would hate to fire him. So, okay. Oh, sorry.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Okay, so we can see all the comments from different things. They may not all show up in the same chat, but rest assured we're good. Okay, so did you ever the story?
Are we talking about? Are you talking?
Oh, yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay.
You got it. All right.
Yeah.
So you have to
So who was?
guess. Sorry, go
Oh
ahead.
no, no. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So with the story at the beginning, instead of telling ghost stories, we're actually going to tell the story, and then you have to decide if you think it's true or false. And usually by the end of the show, we'll let you know, depending on how big the comments are. Sarah's here. She found us.
Hey.
I just shared it everywhere. I was like,
Yeah.
so, except for Pinterest, which I usually share to Pinterest. But I was like, how do you share this to Pinterest with Carole Baskin? Anyways, so, okay, what's the story you got? What you got?
Oh, Carole Baskin. Give me a second. I'm trying to put my notes because I'm the bomb.
So
Okay.
apparently, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So first, let's just throw it out there. Everybody kind of knows her from the song. We were actually trying to find the song where she, it's the whole song about her. But we and Mary were just talking about it. It was so funny
Yeah,
about how they made a song about her, considering the theories about her. I guess
Carole Baskin.
Yeah,
Killer,
and I just
cousin,
keep hearing it
psycho.
playing in my head.
I know all day. And that was rough. Like back in the day, I was like, oh my gosh, get it out. It was like viral for a while.
It's
So
just catchy. I'm sorry, it's just catchy.
also, I just want to point out that Carly suggested the subject. She's
Yeah,
not here.
I know.
It's been
We miss
so
you.
it's been so long since I watched it, but that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with. Um, I'm kind of gonna just talk about. I'm gonna weave in and out because I've got so much good stuff. So apparently, um, she was known to have launched. Oh my gosh, I didn't even ask about that one, but maybe I should skip this part.
That works,
No, we'll
sir.
do it because it's already.
So I do have. Oh wait, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna start. We're just gonna start and just start anywhere. Okay, so we're thinking, who is Carole Baskin, and we all kind of just know about the conspiracy theories about this and that, but like I have a little bit of story about like who she was because everybody always asks, did she really kill her husband or did she put him through the meat grinder? Did she
Mm-hmm.
feed him to the cats? Like we always everybody just sees her as this crazy cat lady, you know, but a lot of people don't know a lot, too much background other than she was kind of like a hippie-ish type of person who loved big cats.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like they kind of assumed the Tiger King is. But she was born in Carol Stairs, I want to say this right, Carol Stairs Jones, on June 6, 1961, on Lakeland Air Force Base in Bexar County, Texas. Um, she wanted to be a veterinarian. She had a very difficult childhood, is what was said. They don't really go into detail about what happened. They just said she kind of had a difficult childhood. I mean, assuming since she was born on a Air Force base, I would say maybe she had one of those parents who was very strict and things like that. And seeing as she lived more openly, in her adulthood. It could have been from the more stricter thing, but it just says that she had
Well,
a difficult childhood.
I see like here at like when she was like around 14, she was
Hmm.
actually
Already,
GANG.
yeah,
Um,
I saw it. I
yep,
saw that when she was on Tiger King too, that she had said that she was RAPED at knife point by 3 men. Actually, I think
yeah,
they said 14, 13, 14. I want to say some of them say 13, some of them say 14, but I know that
yeah,
that's around the age.
hmm,
And it was like coming from a highly religious home. As a teen, she was pretty much blamed for that ordeal that she had suffered. And
yes,
so she ran away. Like, I mean, can you imagine having something like this happen to you when you're 13, 14? Mind you, that's around like starting your period, starting puberty, all those
hmm,
types of emotions. And then you have this traumatic situation happen to you, and then your religious home in the family, because of the background, they're saying it's your fault. She just,
yeah,
the way she explains it in her book is that she ran away, just no questions asked. Like, it wasn't even, she wasn't scared. It was just like, I'm leaving. Like, you're gonna blame me for this.
right,
She spent much of her time like hitchhiking between Florida and Maine and sleeping under cars before returning back to Florida at 17. Eventually, she got a job at the department store where she met and started a relationship with Michael Murdoch. That was actually her boss at the time. So she was she was kind of young, but she was dating her boss. And then they moved in together. Shortly after that, they had a daughter and somehow managed to begin breeding Persian and Himalayan show cats for extra money. I found that kind of weird because it's like we're department store people by day, big show cat breeders by night. So, but
yeah,
apparently, sometimes people have what is it, side jobs, but I guess this is just what she did. She breeded Persian and Himalayan cats that were actually show cats for extra cash. Um, Unfortunately, Murdoch did wind up being abusive and routinely beat her. It was like the way that they explain it is in like the interviews is that it was frequent, routinely, like it happened so often, and um, she ran away, of course. Like, it was time. She realized, when it became more of a routine, she just did the same thing that she did when she left her parents. She ran away.
yes,
After a fight with Murdoch one evening when she was 19 years old, she just took off in the night, just left at night. An older man had when she ran away, she was obviously walking. An older man had soon pulled up beside her and offered her a ride, like when she was on the road that night, and she refused, of course. He drove off, only to pull up again with the gun in his passenger seat. He gestured to it and told her that she could have him at gunpoint if she didn't trust him. So she agreed. So, here she is leaving this abuser. This guy comes and asks her if she needs a ride. Obviously, he sees her at night by herself, which is already dangerous. And then he turns back around, shows her he has a gun. He's like, "Hey, you can hold me up to gunpoint. Like, I'm somebody you can trust. Like, I'm not gonna hurt you." So, of course, I guess in her mind, she agreed. And they wound up spending the night together. And his name was Don Lewis.
yes.
She says, "I fell in love with him then and there." She wrote this in her
Oh,
diary that was later like shown, but she says that was the exact moment when she fell in love with this guy. You know, Considering that she had been RAPED and then she runs away and then she gets with this guy, she marries him. He continuously starts to beat her and then she runs away again. And then, she meets this guy who's like, "Hey, you can shoot me if you don't trust me." Like, in that
yeah.
moment in her mental mind, she's like, "I fell in love with him right there." I think
Oh,
that was kind of different for me. I don't know if I would have thought the same thing. I mean, I would definitely would have held it if I needed a ride, but for me, that was just kind of one of those things that kind of was like, wow, that was the moment she realized she fell in love with him.
oh, love at first
um,
sight.
I know, right? So Lewis initially lied and told Baskin, Carole, that his name was Bob Martin, but he had a pin chat for keeping things like secret and away. In fact, he had a wife. He had a wife,
Oh,
which came of a surprise to her because he didn't tell her he had a wife. And in fact, that he winds up telling her that Martin wasn't even real. Like, that's not his name.
mhm.
Um, Nonetheless, they both left their spouses in 1991 and winded up getting married.
Oh,
So he kind of lies to her at first. Then he kind of comes clean. I guess he starts to, really actually like her, and he tells her the truth. And then they both wind up leaving their spouses and get married. Um, they,
Wow.
as newlyweds, they bought their first bobcat soon after, with more than 100 followed by the mid 90s. They had already had plenty. So I mean, it never says anything about him knowing about cats before her, but it does say that after their first one, they just by the 90s they had like more than 100 cats.
Yes.
Um, so Don Lewis was her husband, the one that everybody questions whether or not what happened to him.
Yeah.
Let's see. In 1992, her and her husband established a 40-acre ranch filled with lions, tigers, and
Bears. Oh my.
several yeah, several carcels called Wildlife on Easy Street in Tampa. Through her dream of caring of animals, had finally come true. She finally was happy, and she was, she always wanted to be a vet, but I'm assuming she just kind of fell into the cats and just liked them. And at this point, she sees her dreams are coming true. Um, you know, everything's going well, but then all of a sudden, around this time too, where they're having all these, where everything she thinks is okay, her marriage, them two start to begin to fight over how the operation should be run.
Right.
Baskin reportedly disapproved of breeding big cats, even though her husband saw it as a business opportunity. Um, they winded up breeding big cats for cash for years, but it was something that was always a bickering thing. You know.
Right.
Meanwhile, her husband, a self-made millionaire, kept his finances to himself. He was a millionaire. He kept his finances to himself. He also kept his promiscuity to himself too.
Mm-hmm.
According to according to his ex-wife, her name was Gladys Lewis Clark. He planned on divorcing her. So I'm assuming that in their marriage, when they were having rocky times, he was still kind of confiding in his ex-wife, is what the story kind of says, and that from what she knows is he was planning on divorcing her. Um, in June 1997, her husband filed a petition for a restraining order against her. He told the authorities that she had threatened to shoot him if he didn't leave their house. Mind you, this is their house, husband and wife.
Yes. Yeah.
So, um, even though the petition it was rejected, um, he provided a copy of his secretary. He provided it. Hold on. He provided a copy to his secretary in case anything out of the ordinary ever happened. Now, remember, he went in and tried to get a restraining order because she was threatening to shoot him from his own house, in his own house, because she wanted him to leave him, even though that was his residence. And then
Yeah.
he gets rejected, but he gives all the paperwork to his secretary and is like, in case anything happens to me, please remember to give this to police that I tried to get help for myself. A few weeks later, he vanished. His car was found in a small airport parking lot with the keys inside. Though he previously um, he liked traveling, and he was always um, he lived that luxurious life. They're saying that, let me see. Okay, so they're saying that he loved Costa Rica, but he never, like, he would always talk about like wanting to go to Costa Rica. But the thing is, they had a I want to say it's a law. Let me see. Okay, yeah, they had exempt from big cat breeding laws. So
Mhm.
even though he was talking about wanting to go to Costa Rica and move with his, just get out of where he was at, there was a law against big cat breeding, which is how he made money sometimes too, with her. So those closest to him um, rejected the notion that he fled. Like they say that his car was parked at the airport, right? Because he was like wanting to go to Costa Rica and find a new home and do these things, and maybe he just disappeared. But then his family knew, like, he's a cat breeder. He actually liked it, and he actually like making money. I mean, he was already a self-made millionaire, but I mean, he wanted to make more money. He wanted to keep the revenue coming in, and he liked breeding the cats. Now, that was a problem with Carole. She didn't like that. But the way it's said that he vanished, his family is like, no way. There's no way he went to Costa Rica because they don't have laws that allow big cat breeding, and that's how he makes his. I guess, side money, you could say, or extra money, whatever. So the
Yeah.
family definitely didn't believe the story, you know? They're just saying like, oh, he just literally vanished into thin air. You know, the sheriff's department also, um, they're saying the same thing. Like, how does he just vanish? Why would his car be at the airport if he didn't have a ticket? And, you know, they're trying to figure out what's going on. They had been checking, the police department also went into checking the finances of her husband. And it would see that some of those documents had disappeared too.
Right.
So she's saying he vanished and took all this paperwork and da 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 da. Nobody believes it because he was telling his ex-wife that he was going to leave her, and then you know the way that they're saying what she's saying is that maybe he went to Costa Rica, blah 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 blah. They're like, no way. There's no way to make money there. Maybe if he went for vacation, but he never came back. So how did he just vanish? You know.
Right.
So let's see what Carole was telling the police was that he was suffering mentally, and that maybe with his mental issue or mental suffering, maybe he got lost or had a tragic accident while he was flying to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Um, they say that he had flown under the radar to avoid detection. That he so I guess so. See here, it doesn't say that he actually. I wonder if he flew himself. Maybe that was the issue. But then they would have found a plane. You know what I'm saying? There was no evidence of
Yeah.
him or his plane or nothing. There was no evidence of anything. You know what I mean? There was no body, there was no plane, there was no accident, there was no permission to be, like she said, maybe he went undetected, but because he liked going to Costa Rica. So it kind of just went everywhere, really, and then the media got a hold of it.
It's
And then, of
always the
course, Mr.
media.
King don't like her, and they're kind of like butting heads. So he's spitting out things like, "Oh, maybe she fed him to the cats," and then it all comes out. Well, maybe she did. And then let's see. She Carol starts to say that maybe her husband was showing signs of early dementia and Alzheimer's at the time. So his disappearance wouldn't have come off as a surprise. So in other words, there's nobody around for him to like other than his family to, help what's going on, the situation. And she
Mm-hmm.
just keeps throwing out random things. Carol's like, oh, he was early stages of Alzheimer's, oh, he was suffering, and all these things.
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of how that one started. Now, they never found him. They never
Well,
found Struggle. And that's kind of how the conspiracy started.
well, then Joe. Like, do we even want to get into Joe? Like David Shigley. It's wild. Like, I don't know. Okay, without looking at anything, like from remembering what you remember about the show and just all the facts, do you think that she did it? Did you think that she killed her husband, whacked him, and then pretend like it didn't happen?
I think she did it. I'm going to be honest with you. Like,
There
by the
was
time
some.
we made the show, I
Mhm.
think she had a little bit of not thereism in her brain. If
Yeah.
that's a word, hashtag Monica. I feel like she was already like when we saw the show and
Mhm.
like she comes off kind of like a hippie-ish freestyle type of woman who loves cats. She has this big old love for cats, and then I'm thinking she looks like she's a little off her rocker.
There's
And
something
then
in her eyes that tells me that there's something wrong, but I
or
really
there's
like
something like she's hiding.
my subconscious is like I don't want to believe it,
It
but
is.
there's got to be some truth to the story for sure. I'm just not sure what it is.
Well, I know somewhere a little bit after like the investigation or something like that. I think like right when they were wrapping it up,
Mhm.
I don't remember if it was a detective or a sheriff or something had seen bone fragment, a chunk of bone fragment near one of the tigers. And I don't know what happened to it or whatever, but she was never charged or nothing. But like, I'm not sure if it was one of the sheriffs or one of the detectives who went out there during the time where they were saying that maybe she killed him, and they were like, okay, well, we're going to start looking at the house, looking at the cats and what's going on. They were going through everything that, where they keep the meat for the cats, all that stuff. They were going through
Yeah.
everything, and like, I remember one of the detectives or something like that saying something about like they had seen bone fragment, but they thought it was like from a steak, but they were wanting to like get a warrant to pull it out of where that tiger was at the time or something, and she was like, no, no.
Well,
But
they
this is around the
said
time where they start to say like maybe she fed him to the cats, you know?
um, so. Apparently, like this is what they've been saying recently. Like on in 2021, on an interview on ITV, they said that Carole Baskin told the host that of that morning show that the missing husband, Don Lewis, was actually found alive. And according to Homeland Security, guess what? So maybe she didn't. Hold on, I'm going to look up this a little bit more because, yeah, they said not one single source has come through in the 14 months since he's interviewed Air to confirm her claims are accurate, but the internet is catching on. Oh, there's going to be a Tiger King too. That's fun. Um, yeah, so maybe he's alive. But maybe it's not him. I mean, maybe she's has is like rich enough, like all the rich folks, because there is a thing where they are creating robots. Not to get off topic, but it is a thing. Like, but we'll get it. We're gonna get into that more, like conspiracy theories and like the Illuminati. We're gonna get into that probably.
A little
Um,
later.
we're going to get into that at the end of February or like beginning of March. And Tiffany's actually going to come on here with us. And I was like, oh, this will be perfect. So she's going to do an episode with us. What was it? Bobbit Lady. Boobity Bobbity.
Yeah.
Boo.
Is it Lorraine and Bobbitt? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So she's going to do Bobbit with us. And then she'll do the Illuminati live later on. So
Yeah.
that would
So
be
stay tuned for that one too, guys. I agree with David though. I think she let him eat him.
I
Now,
don't know.
if they
Like, do you
find
think
him,
she cooked him, or
maybe it's
you
a
know?
doppelganger. That's how I feel. Like, have you ever
Yeah,
have you
that's what
ever
I'm
met somebody who
saying.
kind of looks like you, or just ran into somebody that looked like you,
No,
or
nobody
like have
looks
you
like
have you ever had
me.
anybody send you a picture that looks
There
like you, but it's not you?
was there we were doing. I can't remember which case it was, but we were doing one case, and one of those hookers looked just like me, but in a past life. I was like,
I've
oh my god, am I a murderer? Was I
two
killed?
times. Two times in life I've had that happen. My cousin took a picture of a girl at the mall and she's like, I swear this was you. And she looked just like me. Or actually three times. And then I went to high school in Austin to McCallum and there's this girl who looked just like me. And people would get us mistaken all the time. I was just a little tanner than her and I was taller than her. And my hair was always layered and hers was straight. But we like, it would look like I was looking in the mirror. Definitely didn't have the same parents or nothing. And then when I moved to Artesia, where I'm at now, everybody in the town says, "Is so and so your sister?" There's this girl, and they're like, "You look like her sister," but I don't know the girl's name. But they always ask me if I have a sister named whatever. I think it's Jessica, and they're like, "Is your sister Jessica something?" And I'm like, "No, but this is a small town, so everybody knows everybody." And apparently, I look like somebody's sister, but I haven't met her yet, and I haven't seen her yet. So I get that a lot here in this town. Like, "Are you so and so's sister?" And I'm
So,
like, "No."
so it's apparently like bad luck to see some your doppelganger. So my dad. Okay, sorry, like getting off topic, but my dad. So my uncle is like a cop here in Texas, and him and my dad were just talking in the driveway one day, and all of a sudden my uncle gets a call, and they're like, "Hey, we got your brother so and so in jail," and he was like, "That's funny because he's sitting right in front of me," and they're like, "No, we got him. He's here in jail. He was doing this, this, and that, and the other." So he goes so he's like, hold on. So he goes to the jail cells. Look at him. Looks just exactly like my dad. Like he was like, what the heck? So that's when he started calling my dad a witch. I'm like, oh my gosh. So let's see. I just see the comments. I'm sorry. So in this day and age, it's hard to vanish. Yeah, but also if you had money, I feel like you could get away with it a little bit easier. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you've heard about like the famous people who fake their death and then take off
yeah.
and then live like a normal life. Like that's
Well,
definitely in our conspiracy theory times, but like
yeah.
I mean, but think about, I mean, because he was already planning on to divorcing her. Why he had enough money to divorce her? Why would he just vanish? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then she already threatened him with a gun right before. Maybe I feel like maybe she shot him and then she fed him to the tigers.
she probably did.
Because, I mean, they say maybe she put him in the meat grinder, blah, blah, blah. Them tigers could have ate through anything. That's
True.
that's the crazy thing.
And then,
Like, bone is not a problem for them, okay?
hmm so David said, I've been told back when I was a teenager that I had a twin, but at the same time, I never saw it, which is probably good. You probably have worse luck than you have now. And then he said, Sir, you're right, but they're way. Well, I wouldn't know anything about that because I'm not a schmurderer. I'm just kidding. Well, no, I'm not kidding. We're not gonna say schmurder anymore, because there's like taken away from some of the stories, and it's just like crazy. Um, okay, so also, side note, sorry, I'm going through a hole here. There's also an island where, like, if you go on there, they just eat you. Like, you can't get an interview with anybody. You just go on there, this island, and they eat you. And they don't
Oh,
ask
yeah, yeah,
questions.
yeah.
I
They
forgot
tell
what.
you not to go because there's cannibals there, right?
Right, and there's a
It's like a
whole
tribe or
fleet
something
of
like
them.
that.
Yeah, they probably put you on a stake and just turn you like a piggy.
Is that the same island where that kid went and then they said that that's like his last recording?
Yep, there was like a couple of them, but I seen like at least three or four.
I think there was like a reporter who went to the island with a couple of people, and then he was recording them, and then all the people found was his recorder, and
Yep.
then he was asking them like, I this is the craziest thing too, like off note for a second, but in his interview he asked them what do people taste like, and he was like pig.
Ew.
As somebody who eats really healthy, like I don't
Now
really
we're
eat,
like,
but
well,
like
I don't like to
to
eat
say that
like
that's crazy.
pork. I already don't like pork is not my thing, and I think I'm gonna get away from bacon now because it's starting to get too salty. You know what I'm saying? So, um, that's true. Because the more people you know, like people are gonna start asking questions. But if you don't talk to anybody. So before I moved into this like neighborhood, my landlord, she was saying that someone lived in this house, and okay, so
No, I'm just
apparently
yeah.
the guy was there. He only left like a few items from like the army, but he completely vanished. And he came back. I think I was still living there. It was like 3, 4 years later. And he's like, "Hey, can I get my stuff?" And she's like, "Where the hell have you been?"
Just come to get my stuff now.
Yeah. So it is crazy.
I agree with Sarah too when she says there's so many people missing that have just been unalived and never found. You know, I
Well,
we're from Austin. We're from Austin. Okay. There's this white girl everybody knows about. She's been all over the billboards. Her name is Roxanne. I went to school with that girl in McCallum. My good friend Marie was her best friend. So like
yeah,
my friend Marie would confide in me when they were fighting and they were best friends. This girl was not known for the nicest things at times, but
yeah.
she knew to hang around people she probably shouldn't hang around. And she goes missing one day. And Marie is like, she's probably out there with her boyfriend, whatever. Well, then after a week, her mom starts calling around, and Marie's like, dude, I'm fucking panicking now. And I'm like, dude, like, she's known to run away and things like that. Like, just, her best. But she would call you, or she would always include her in something. Um, and Marie started to get worried. Then I started to get worried. And then all of a sudden, it's this big thing. She's missing. Never found. They say the last time that they saw her, she was on one of the most craziest streets, which is Rumberg, and she was literally working at a floral shop in the worst neighborhood where the prostitutes and drug
Oh,
dealers and pimps are. And they say that she just disappeared. She was working for a florist for a little while, and she hadn't been around her parents for a couple months. I mean, about a month or so. And that was the last time they saw her. Supposedly, was the lady had saw her there, and then one day she just didn't come into work, but
oh.
on the worst street, Rumberg. And if you know Austin, Texas, like we know Austin, Texas, Rumberg is not the place for any woman to be.
They have good
So
tacos.
she's still lost. Her body has never been found. None of her belongings have been found. And she was just one of those people who vanished. And she was young. She
Yeah.
was maybe 19, 18, maybe 19. I don't know. She was young though. We were in high school, and then it was like right outside of high school. So that was just one of those people I remember from Austin because she was all over the billboard. She's still on billboards,
Yeah.
considered to be missing.
Mm-mm. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. I wonder, like, I kind of want to test this theory. Like, how long can I go missing? Like, if I didn't tell anybody I was moving out of state, you know, I wonder how long it would take.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not all the time, but there is like the percentage is
Mhm.
significantly greater. You know, like what I mean?
Yeah, when David talks about how sometimes the females who go missing are normally trafficked. I can be honest with you. Um, that girl that was in our missing area in Austin, it was said that in the underground world of pimping and drug dealings on Rumberg that she was around that lifestyle, but they don't know if she was being trafficked, but she had a history of being around those types of people, the drug dealers, the smokers, you know. And yeah, that was kind of one of the things that nobody wanted to say out loud on TV is that she hung around with bad people, and that's probably how she winded up on Runberg. And then it said that it was questionable whether or not she was trafficked. Of course, her parents didn't want to say that, but I mean, people who were from the hood who went to that school, like me, I'm from the hood. I mean, I wasn't from Rumberg hood, but I was from the hood, and I went to that school in McCallum to, better my education. And it was underground words that said that she may have been being around those people. We don't really know if she was being trafficked, but like
Yeah.
we definitely know that her disappearance was no surprise.
So okay, so I'm gonna add. I sent a link to David. If you don't have to join, David, I sent it to you, and then I'm gonna send a link over to Sarah and White Boy, so you can join in. So I think Monica's gonna get her kids that way.
Yes, my kids are asking me to pick them up from the restaurant because it's super cold up here.
Oh,
But y'all chime in, and I'm going to be looking.
okay. So okay, then once you get back, we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it takes you that long, right?
No, everything's like 5 to 7 minutes away.
Oh my gosh, now my phone wants to on the right one. There we go. Here's the link.
Trying to think if there's anybody else who went missing that we know of that like just
I
vanished in the clear
know. I'm like, whatever happened to that guy at the ice cream shop?
air.
Golly. I'm so sorry. Now I can't find Snap. There we go. I heard that you need to. Okay, I'm sending it right now. Sorry, guys. I'm moving slow. Um,
I usually go to my email and then it's like a little link. You just click on it, and then it'll show you yourself, and then click on it, you'll join in.
so I'm assuming Sarah is probably going to join on her phone. So I'm going to send it to her Snap. And maybe they can join through the phone. If not, then I can email it over to y'all. You can kind of play around with it today if you're good with that. Um,
All right.
oh, we got somebody.
Got somebody?
Yeah, you know who that? Oh, it's
Oh, is it?
Sarah.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
Hey,
Hey,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Hello.
Okay, I'm gonna jump.
Welcome. Okay, okay. Just keep the same link. Or yeah, there you go. Okay. Woohoo! I was like, I don't want to go by myself.
No,
Um,
I get it.
I
Um,
sent I sent it
so
to
like
White and David
while
too.
we're talking about missing people,
Mhm.
one of the biggest epidemics in our country is obviously like trafficking of people of color and
Mhm.
especially indigenous women. And I lived on the border of a reservation and I did a lot of shopping there. Like, got to know a lot of people there. And when I tell you every year, so many women would go missing
Mhm.
and just never heard from, seen again, and there would be signs of like foul play.
Where was this at?
A reservation in northern Wisconsin.
Oh wow.
And it's everywhere, like North Dakota, South Dakota. I've talked to people. I went down a rabbit hole that consumed my life for like 10 months and
Mhm.
traveled different places to try to just figure, like, what the fuck is happening.
Right.
And it's human trafficking because the tribal nations can't call in the FBI
Yeah. Well,
and they
how?
don't have the resources for like international manhunts, so it's horrific. Like, and so when David, and I'm not trying to, or I think his name is David, I wasn't trying to call you out, but a live person has many more needs than a deceased person, which
That's
makes it harder for them to truly vanish. Like, you need food, you need clothes, you need water. There's certain points where you are going to interact with somebody else. Unless you're trained in survival in that way. But, mm, deceased people, you stash them somewhere.
yes, and then you can bury them so like pretty deep, and there's a lot of earth and there's a lot of water. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Like, you throw someone in the ocean,
You know?
they gone. Like, you might find a bone here or there years later, but chances are, like, so I think Carole Baskin, going back to everything, did kill her husband.
I think
100%.
I don't like. I remember when she was doing like the interviews and she was talking about everything, like the reservation. Welcome back, Chris. Sorry, this is white boy Chris, or just Chris. Um,
What's up?
hey, we were just
Howdy.
talking about Carol.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what
So
happened to kick me out.
it's okay. Um, so yeah, it was like they were telling the interview. It sounded like you could just look at her and like you're like, okay, something's off. But
Well,
I don't like to blame until I know.
and I'm not accusing her of murder. I'm not saying anything else. But I
Hmm.
think she's also exemplified through all of the stuff in her life, like her ex-husband, like her husband before that, like her animals, everything she's done, she's proved that she will do what it takes to get what she wants.
Right.
Period. End of discussion. And people like that are dangerous because where's the line? She's proven to be a sociopath. Like, it's
Yeah.
for me, there's more things that line up with her having killed her husband than for her husband to give up the lavish lifestyle he was living and go on the run. And for what reason?
Right.
Like, he would be giving up so much of a certain lifestyle,
There's
a
just not a
very
lot of information on it. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, he went on a trip to Costa Rica. He's there. Okay,
well.
well, show us proof.
Here's the thing. I lived in Costa Rica for 10 and a half months.
Mhm.
There is no way you're not being found. There is no way you're not being seen.
Stop it.
Me?
No,
Thank you.
it keeps kicking me out.
Oh.
Oh.
But like,
um,
period, end of discussion. Like, I essentially ran away. I didn't tell anyone I was going to Costa Rica till I was down there. And by the time I landed, everybody knew where I was because it's so well documented because they don't want the drugs. They don't want the problems that other countries in South America have. Like, yeah, they have problems, but
right.
Costa Rica documents their shit so well and so thoroughly. That was a terrible country to choose as a scapegoat. And for me, that was what, 11 years ago now. So it's only gotten more than it was then, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for me, there's too many things in she had a hand in his disappearance
Hmm.
than he took off willingly or of his own accord or breathing.
Yeah.
There's just too many things in one column, and the only thing in the he could be alive is where's the body, and that oftentimes there isn't a body. So to me, that's not even something that belongs in that column.
So she can't get reap no benefits though if he's just missing.
She doesn't need him.
Yeah, that's true.
She's worth millions. She doesn't. He's worth less than she was or is. I'm not sure what she is worth now, I guess. But he was worth less. So the benefit, and there was a prenup, and there was other things. So,
Yeah.
and she didn't take, like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. But he was also working with law enforcement before he went missing about the
Mm-hmm.
allegations against her and her animal sanctuary, or whatever the fuck she called it.
Oh my gosh, Chris.
He's giving me a really hard time.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, she stood to lose a lot more from his presence than she would gain from his, like, death.
Yes.
So
Okay. This is my last time. If it kicks me out, I'm done. But I
He's
reset my
struggling.
internet. Maybe it was that. We'll see what happens.
Okay, awesome. What do you think happened, Chris? What is your theory on the Baskin?
She killed her husband, whacked him. I said it in the comments.
That's what I've been saying in my head all day.
well, and the other thing too is there's a pig farm less than 10 miles from her.
Oh, see, I didn't know about that because we don't
That's
know.
nothing. So when I tell you I went on a fucking deep dive, I was on Google Earth, I was fucking doing shit, and there's a literal pig breeding and butchering farm less than 10 miles away, and the byproducts from that is what you would feed the cats.
Yeah.
So I think we all know what pigs can do to a body.
Yep. Break it down, hide them.
Like, they'll even eat bone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
we just did the Manson case too.
Oh,
And
that's a
I
rough
don't know
one.
that when you said bone, I was like, oh my god, that reminds me.
That case
Uh,
is. I
it's
listen to a
a
hell of a lot of true crime, and that case fucks me up.
yeah. We have to do a part two. There was so much. So I did it from like Linda's perspective, so I can get all the like nitty gritty details. And the part one's come out so good. That'll be out next week, and then Carly will come in with the part two. I don't know if I'm going to be there to record part two, but Carly's in the hospital right now, so but she hopefully should be back next week.
And Chris dropped again. He's doing
Yeah,
great.
he's in and out. Yeah, that's why you have the link. Sometimes it just works better on a computer, and it depends on your internet too. So some people get in through their phone, but usually, like right now, I'm using the computer.
Yeah, I'm on my phone right now because I'm sorry I'm not going upstairs to go to my computer.
Yes.
My physical therapist is a fucking sadist, and I hurt. But yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of life experiences, and because of those life experiences, and because of the knowledge I've gained from those experiences, I have a very hard time believing, even if she didn't do something, that she didn't orchestrate something.
Yeah.
And her husband was kind of a nobody,
Mm-hmm.
and she was kind of a somebody, and I think it was just,
They didn't really think about it till, you know,
Mm.
Joe like pointed it out.
And it wasn't it years later?
Yeah. He
Like
was
at that point, how do you start an investigation like that years later?
like something like right. So like if you're going in there, you got the camera, and you're like, okay, tell me your story, and
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, so where's your husband? Oh, he's in Costa Rica somewhere. I have no idea. And then you got Joe Exotic over here, like, she's a liar. Devil's a lie.
Well,
She
and from my digging, he might not know exactly what happened,
I'm
but
back.
also
can't.
that pig farm was known to supply food to those sanctuaries. Like, if a pig was sick and they had to slaughter and it's not fit for human consumption, but a fucking tiger or big cat can eat it no problem, they
Right.
would sell it to the sanctuaries.
Unless the tiger ate him, right? And then they get
Tigers won't
the
eat
pigs.
bone.
Right, but then they get the pigs involved. And the pigs eat the tiger.
So
And
here's the thing that I think is often overlooked is there are things pigs will eat, and it's anything that smells like a predator. So if a tiger touched something, I highly doubt a pig would touch it.
yeah. I can't hear you. Oh, Monica. Monica?
Hey.
Oh, it's like
Okay.
Chris
Sorry,
Gayle.
that was my little rant. It's just I think she killed him.
I
Or
think she fell
orchestrated killing
into
him.
our spiral.
I feel like she would have had enough time too, even if there was bone left. I feel like she would have had plenty of time to hide the bone somewhere.
Yeah. She could have done it.
Well, and honestly, bones aren't that whoa. My brain just fucking went TV static. One moment, bones aren't that hard to dispose of or break down.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when the crematories are done with disintegrating the body, they grind the bones fast. Like,
Yeah,
it's what they say, like in a blender. So,
I mean, it's a little different, but like the heat breaks down the bones. So if you get them to a sustained heat hot enough and you break them open, you can destroy the DNA because that's just bone marrow. That's all you have to do to make it untraceable is destroy the bone marrow.
They won't eat.
Well, I mean that's
That's
way
weird.
oversimplifying it, but
in layman terms.
Um,
I mean there's like the cartilage that doesn't decay and won't burn, and there's DNA other places, but to make identification damn near impossible because at that point you're looking for a needle in a haystack.
well, not okay, but if you got along with like these certain tigers, and how they like play and like once your family, to the tigers like your family. That's my dad or my brother or whatever. It doesn't matter if you're human or not. They play hard, right? So what if they maybe they didn't eat them? Maybe they were like, no, that's Poppy. And
Yeah,
so
and animals do have that instinct,
Don't worry,
but
Chris.
they also like even humans, if you are starving, you will eat.
yeah, that's true.
And I could see her mistreating an animal to get what she wants in the end game. I don't think highly of her. The more I've learned about her past and the more I've learned about everything, the more I think she's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I
You
I
see
I
these thing up down here talking. You see? I don't know if you can see this comment.
I can't see his
Wait.
comments.
So well, actually, I can put them up here for you if you want. Let's see.
Did I
Oh
just kick myself?
no, you're here. So this is the chat.
Oh.
Oh wait, sorry. Oh, okay. Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, probably be afraid.
He's like, can you see? I'm like, David said, yeah, most women these days are crazy.
Hold on.
Bitch!
Hold on. I got this. we only get crazy when they make us crazy sometimes. And Carole
Mhm.
Baskin, like she was already a little whacked before, and then all the
Right.
abuse happened, and then I just feel like it just. I mean, she just seemed off, in even in her show. So women can be crazy, but we don't choose just to be like, oh, we're gonna live a life of crazy today. No. Most men won't tell you the truth when the truth comes out. A woman will tell you the truth no matter how hurt she is. But
Most of the
men
time.
sometimes like to stir the pot or gaslight a woman before she actually snaps.
This is
I mean, haven't
true.
you seen the show Snap?
Like I remember when we were like younger, I'd be like, you know what? The reason it's not women that are drama, it's the men that cause the drama and then blame the trauma on us.
Yeah, women just don't go looking for drama. Like most women, unless, like we said, there's background sometimes that have to do with a lot of the craziness. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, considering how her life was, and she was a runaway, and then being RAPED, like things like that can mess up a woman's mind.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I just thought it was kind of pretty random too, though.
But also,
Chris.
there's a lot of people who've been through a lot worse and don't do that. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's all choices, and shitty, horrendous things happen to people.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you react to that. That depends on your character, and that's it. Like,
I feel like it's still a choice, Sometimes, like,
it
okay,
is.
sometimes you have people who have been traumatically messed up, so they have that disassociation. Like, that right there, having the disassociation to reality, you have no emotion. You're not connected emotionally. So, like, that's a different thing, too, because that's something that happens in the brain that just completely disconnects when something traumatic seriously happens. So I've seen that happen, but I've never seen what I've seen in Carole. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like
She
she's
just
just
has this thing like behind
she's like
her
one of those people
eyes
that's
that
like
kind
when
of
people say
tells a
keep Boston weird, it's like
story.
keep Carole weird.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's nothing there. There's no life there.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like dead inside. Like
And it's almost
I
like
can
she went on a
just.
really bad psychedelic trip and just never came off, but tries to act normal, if that makes sense.
Do you think she knew Manson?
I think she could be a Manson.
Oh my
I
gosh!
think she probably would have followed him really quick.
Manson
Like
was
head
nothing
honcho, one of
but
those, one of
he
his top
was
tiers.
just a hippy dippy LSD user who didn't realize that he was messed up from all the drugs. You know what I'm saying? Um, okay. So this is what David said. He said, "Yeah, Chris, you'd be right. Hell, look at Gypsy Rose. I've never had a woman be honest." And then Chris was like laughy face, and then I was like bullshit. And
Gypsy Rose should have been put to death.
don't even get started, Carly, on
Well,
it.
you know what? We should do one on Gypsy Rose. We got to put her on the list.
Oh no,
And we
I'm
can put
telling
her
you,
in February.
Carly will be like, hell no.
I am very much against Gypsy Rose. I think she should not be out, and I am terrified
She's
for her
famous
child.
for being infamous.
Okay, Chris, I have something for Chris. Chris says that he's never had a woman be honest. I'm going to be completely honest with you because I am that type of person. I have been in relationships where I have been completely honest in the loving way, never angrily disputing, but being a very calm person who discusses things and wanting to sit at the table when I've made a mistake or when we're going to have a. Men say they want the truth, but they really don't want it because when I've given it to
Every
I've
single
had
time
more
you give
serious
them the
relationships in
truth,
my
they're
life,
like little
they
babies.
can't handle it. They go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the older women get, the more we realize men have to be lied to, otherwise they're gonna snap. Like from my perspective, I have always told the truth, and men cannot handle the full truth.
Sometimes, well, you can be honest, but sometimes you just have to sandwich it. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm being straight up harassed by this cat right now. Hold on, sorry.
um,
I
yeah,
agree.
David
Like,
said that, but David,
I'm sorry.
let me tell you about David. He is June Cancer. Let's start there.
Oh God, no. Okay, enough said.
He says, "Look, I've been cheated on, verbally abused, and accused of cheating, and used for my money to the point where I just stay single." Touche,
I've
sir,
been
because
pushed out
I
of a
have
moving
been
vehicle after having the shit kicked out of me. So
everything he said. I've gone through it too, and I prefer to stay single just because I don't want to deal with the bullshit anymore. Like I've done the truth. I've done the okay, I'll try to agree, just to disagree, and I've done the okay, sure, whatever, the blow offs, the whatevers. No. I think it's just one of those things where like you just gotta find somebody you get along with.
Well, yeah, pretty much. And then the personality's gotta mesh for sure.
Well, sometimes you have the people who are completely opposite, but then they even each other out.
Yeah.
But we've had bad luck, and I just want to say, David, you're not the only one. We have all had bad luck, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want you to give up on finding somebody you're gonna get along with one day, because I think it's just people are different, and some people are out there to use you, and some people aren't, and it's very rare that you find the good ones, but you'll find them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry, my freaking throat is dry. I got up, got a pop, and then left it across the freaking room.
Oh, David, you just need to calm down, because listen, he's just
Listen, Linda.
listen, just calm down.
Listen.
So I don't know. I go back to it just depends on the man. I don't lie. I'm pretty honest, but most of the time when I'm honest, this previous one, just gets so angry, or that's not true, or just it's you just
sometimes you have to talk to men like they're fucking toddlers, because they have the emotional intelligence of a
Mary, what have I been telling Mary? I've been telling. Okay, no judgment, guys. I have been telling Mary for years. Men are stupid. They're simple. They're simple, but they're really dumb.
No,
Sometimes
but they're not simple.
You have to tell them. No dissing men, but sometimes they're just dumb, bro. They're not mind readers. You have to tell them.
Yeah, you have to be pretty blunt, but not.
Sorry, I wasn't flipping you guys off. Husband came downstairs right while you were saying. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, like Mary said, sometimes you just gotta sandwich it. Just make them a sandwich. Sometimes they're just happy with the food.
No. I mean, sandwich. Tell them something positive. Be like, hey, so I fixed the sink for you. You're being a freaking douchebag, and I don't like the way you're talking to me. You fucktard. Oh, also, I put your favorite show on. Do you want a sandwich? You see what I'm saying?
Sandwich. I get it now. Okay, I get the sandwich part. Okay, it's a metaphor. Got it.
There's a scene in.
David says, Mary, why are you dissing my sign?
You're a June Cancer. I'm a July Cancer. There's a complete difference.
I can agree to that, because I'm a September Virgo, definitely different from the August Virgo.
I'm not playing this game.
She's wait.
Fact.
I thought she was a Scorpio. No, you're a Capricorn. You're a Capricorn. Capricorn. Yes. Yeah, I was because I remember I told her twice. I said, all my bestest friends are all Capricorns. Tiffany, Shannon. Shannon's in jail, by the way.
You know what? Wait a minute. Mary, you said you're a which Cancer?
July Cancer.
So is Ava, and she's my best friend. By the way, Ava's my youngest 9-year-old, but me and her I have 5 kids, but me and her just clicked. BFF, and so are me and Mary.
You're my only Virgo friend. None of the other Virgos like me. You're the only one. But Capricorns, they just kind of okay, Larissa, the one that was in here, she's a Capricorn. Tiffany and Shannon, they're all Capricorns. I feel like I'm missing somebody. And Sarah. And Sarah's pretty cool. It's so weird. They just kind of and then Scorpios are supposed to be your soulmate sign for Cancer. And so I've been running into a lot of Scorpios lately. Most of the people there's only one Scorpio I don't like. It's because he shaved everything. You know what I'm saying? Well, TMI. I was running back and forth with him until I seen that, and I was like, we're done. It's over.
I tell my oldest daughter, because my oldest daughters are 21, but she knows Mary. She grew up with Mary being my best friend. I tell my daughter sometimes, because my youngest daughter's like, I like a little hair, not a lot, but some of these guys are out here looking like bears. I said, oh girl, don't worry. My best friend, Miss Mary. I said, she likes a little hamburger meat out there once in a while. So we joke about it, but everybody has their preference,
That wording was gross.
I'm a little older, so my feels completely different.
My face is very loud right now. I'm sorry, I'm sleepy.
14.
At least we don't have to wonder what's on your mind.
Why do you think when we were over on that one app that I always had my camera off because people would be saying shit, I'd be like, oh, it doesn't
No.
go well.
Sometimes my eyes would just roll back so far. um, but yeah, so normally this isn't for everybody, okay? It just depends on like what time you're born and what day, technically, and what your moon sign is. But June cancers typically be like sensitive. Like you can't tell them nothing because they'll turn around and get like claws.
Offended, like, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll just be like, and like I don't know, they're just so petty. And then July cancers are like we're sweet and innocent, and we just chill and we like cozy stuff. Also,
You know what?
more
Y'all love
freaky in the
water.
bedroom, but that's neither here nor there. I dated a Gemini, and that one sign I will never give it. I dated a Gemini. James was a Gemini. Never again. I'm done.
You married the Gemini.
I married the Gemini. And you know
And
what's
he's not around anymore.
yeah, so what's crazy about it is I had a friend of ours. He did my zodiac reading, like my stars reading and all that. So like he would put down each date of the birthday of like my soulmate and stuff.
I'm pretty
And
sure child.
one of like it was like my first or second soulmate had that birthday. And I was like, gosh dang it. And then every time I cut the cords, it always comes back around. So I'm kind of like, that stupid son of a bitch. So,
I have yet to get my chart done. I need to, though. I'm already at that point where I probably just should. It's probably because I've been going against my chart. That has to be right.
I
I mean,
think
I'm
my
definitely a Virgo to the T. To the T.
I think
September
my
Virgo.
third soulmate. I have to look back at it too because it's been a while. But my third one was supposed to be like I can't wait. One of them was a Capricorn. One of them was a
Gemini.
Sagittarius. I think the third one is a Capricorn.
Okay.
Maybe I need to do it again. That way I can be like, what's your birthday? Nah, you ain't it.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, I should never got married. But yeah, so we kind of definitely went over an hour today, so that's great. Exciting.
Still good stuff. Still good stuff. I think
I
we had
know.
really good interaction.
I really like this. Like I like the interaction thing. I want to start
too.
doing this. We could still do what we did today.
Yeah,
Still
for sure.
do the intro, do the subject, and just bring people in the half of it, the second half of
As
it.
the speakers, I like
Yeah.
it. I think it did well today.
Woohoo.
So,
Okay.
real quick derailment. Because I thought a child fell out of bed.
Love life.
But speaking of signs, I was dating of an August Leo.
Oh.
Ugh.
All my siblings are August Leo.
I have 2 kids with an August Leo. As a
Which
Virgo,
they can either be fantastic
or
or
your
the
worst enemy.
worst people you've ever met. There's no in between. There's no like average. There's no mediocre. You're the best, or you're spawn of Satan.
Yeah.
I was dating the
They have
spawn of
no. They
Satan.
have no emotion. They are like the lion. They bite with no emotion. It's
Well, you see, Summer and Taylor both have the same like August 5th birthday. Totally complete opposites. Summer's like, I love you, butterflies and rainbows, and Taylor's like darkness.
dark and mysterious.
Yeah.
Oh, but we broke up. Okay, obviously. And he was like, "You can take from the house anything you paid for." My ass got petty.
Oh my
I
god.
paid to get the oven fixed. I obviously can't take the whole oven, but you bet your ass I took the oven door.
No, you didn't. wonder
But
if
you
I
know
could-
what they do? They do get petty because my kid's dad, when we decided to break up, he was definitely cheating all the time, and I caught him, and then he just had drug abuse too. But he got real petty, like little things, like
Oh, he
doorknob.
didn't get petty, but I knew how he was gonna get with me. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like, F you. I'm going to preemptively out petty you.
yeah.
You know
I'm
what?
gonna
That
beat
gives
you
me
before
an
you beat
idea. That gives me an idea for the move.
me.
Oh.
And
For
then you
me,
went
I've
to
always just been one of those people who's like, just get everything that's yours out. I don't want to remember you. I don't want to think about you. I'm cutting you off and I'm moving on
that's
forward.
pretty much what he said. He was like, just take whatever you paid for. I'm not gonna go to court, divvy this up, whatever. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
works for me.
I paid for
Took his
this.
fuel pump, took his muffler,
No.
took the oven door.
Oh my God, I know somebody whose husband took wood.
Took
Wood
what?
that they were gonna wood that they were gonna build a deck with.
That's expensive though.
Yeah, but he wasn't gonna use it for anything. It was bought for
Oh,
the
gotcha.
deck. Yeah.
I paid to, because we had a house together, we were married. So I, had paid to get some textured shit on the walls. I paid someone $300 to come in and remove it. They're like, oh, do you want us to repaint it? Because it's going to look like shit. I said, nope, leave it.
It's supposed to look like shit.
The point is for it to look like shit.
Yeah. That's
But anyway, that's all I was going to say. Sorry.
No, thank you for coming on too. I enjoyed having the live interaction as
Mary,
well.
actually message me. Don't post it on your stories when you're posting stuff or going live. Because I'm really, really bad at checking Snapchat stories. And then it makes me seem like a bad friend for not supporting you. So
Oh,
just send me a link.
I thought I sent it to. I put it on the front page, and then I messaged everybody. I thought
Everybody.
I was.
Mary.
I know. I was specifically like, this has got to go to Sarah because Sarah sends me her link, so I got to get it to Sarah. Hold on. Let me go in here and show you that I did.
I literally did not see
Hey,
it. I
Chris.
didn't know until White Boy was like, hey, just so you know, Mary's live. I was like, what the shit? What's her link? And then I looked at your story.
Oh, look, it says you opened it, and it's right there. See that little blue link? That's me.
That's a link to here.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean for when you first
She
went
means for
live.
when we yeah.
Oh. So I thought I sent that to you, too. Gosh dang it. Okay, well.
You think I'm gonna call your ass out on live on YouTube without knowing my stuff?
I thought I did. I thought I sent to everybody, but it was. Oh, maybe
Forgotten
I didn't.
again.
No, maybe I. Wait, it was on TikTok. Yeah, I gotta go
The
live on
TikTok I
TikTok again
can't get
tonight.
on. Mary?
Yeah. Well, that's what made it sound worse. I'm like, I'm not winning, so I'm not gonna go live on there tonight again. So that's.
That's funny as hell.
And then we got to go on favorited. So if y'all are on favorited and you're watching, definitely check out Sarwall, SAR, and then click W, and it'll be that first one that shows up. I think.
Probably.
That's how I look you up. SARW, and then you pop up.
It's SARWALLY.
Sarwally. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. And then, so definitely check it out. Okay, I'm going to get off of here, and y'all have a good night. Stay out of trouble.
No
Thank you for
promises.
joining, Sarah.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.